Hello everyone. Today we are going to study about judicial structure of our country, the functions of Indian judiciary. Before we begin with this chapter, let's see something about Supreme Court of our India. Supreme Court of our India was established on 26th of January 1950, the day when we got republic. Prior to which this was even known as Federal Court of India. When it was called Federal Court of India, it was a part of Indian Parliament House only. Now, this has been separated and it has shifted. It has moved to another building, which is at Mathura Road, New Delhi. If we begin with the judiciary, if we begin with the functions of judicial system in our country, we have vivid functions. Let us see all functions in detail. If we see the functions, the basic three functions of judiciary system in our country, we find dispute resolution as the topmost one. What is the meaning of dispute resolution? When all kind of disputes are been resolved in our country, whether it be disputes between individuals, whether it be disputes between states, whether it be disputes between individuals and government, all of these kind of disputes are resolved in our country by Indian judiciary. Second function is the judicial review. Judicial review, if government has passed up, if there's a law which comes up from Parliament House after the assent of government and it gets majority, then it is only function of judiciary to review something. That means it looks into the topic again. If this bill or if the law is going to harm a particular section of the society, this bill will be definitely amended. Or if not amended, the judiciary or the Supreme Court is definitely going to give suggestions to the government to review it again in order to see that what kind of harm it is going to cause on a particular section of the society. Then next we have is the uphold of the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Our fundamental rights are utmost and Indian judiciary is the safeguard of these fundamental rights. We have 6 fundamental rights, 6 basic heads of these fundamental rights, and judiciary makes sure that it upholds each and every citizen's fundamental rights. If anybody's rights are violated, anybody's fundamental rights are violated, they can straight away reach the Supreme Court or any other branches of courts and can ask for the justice. If we look for each of the function in detail, we'll find it over here. Dispute resolution. According to this function, the judicial system provides a mechanism for resolving disputes between citizens. As I told you, dispute can be between anyone. Dispute can be between two people also regarding their land, regarding their property, regarding their domestic affairs, okay, or regarding their criminal affairs as well. So then it can be between citizens and government also. Yeah, we can have grievances against government also. In any case, if our laws or if any function is not given appropriately to us, we can even claim it. We can claim it with the help of judiciary. So then citizens and government can also have a dispute. Then between two states, when we talk about two states or governments of two different states, we can take the example of River Narmada. That can be a matter of dispute between state of Madhya Pradesh and state of Gujarat. Sharing of the water of River Narmada, or if you take the example of River Kaveri. River Kaveri dispute was a very popular one in the past if we see. And then that can be between the state and the central government as well. Disputes can be between any and all of these disputes are resolved by the judiciary of our country. Then judicial review, as I told you, judiciary has the whole sole power to strike down particular laws that are passed by the parliament. If these laws tend to be violating to a particular group, recent example, we have it in front of our eyes. We have farmers revolt, we have farmers protest. Yes, this farmers protest is against the law that is made by the government. This law is clear on the part of parliament, but Supreme Court has again and again been asking government to review the law. So then we can say that judicial review is a very integral part of Indian judiciary, Supreme Court. This is something important to our Indian constitution as well. Now, the third category, the third function, third very important function of judiciary is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. We can say that our Indian constitution is a lifelong constitution. So then here, who is going to uphold it? Who is going to carry it further? This is also responsibility of our Indian judiciary to carry forward all the principles of our Indian constitution and to enforce fundamental rights. Everything is in written form, but then it has to be enforced. So every Indian citizen can approach the Supreme Court if they feel that their rights are violated, or you can even go to High Court if you believe that your fundamental right, these can be any fundamental right to equality, to freedom, freedom of speech, yeah, then to carry out any processions, any rallies, whatever you feel like, that is freedom been provided by our Indian constitution. Or you can see, you can have another fundamental right which is called constitutional remedies. Yeah, so then through this fundamental right, constitutional remedies, you can definitely approach any system, any branch of Indian judiciary. Is this clear? If we see, if what is an independent judiciary, judiciary in our country is an independent body. Independent body, if we talk about, we have two in our country. One is the Indian judiciary, the other one is the Election Commission. Both of these are independent bodies in our country. They are not at all influenced by any government. Government has no role, absolutely no role to play with these two. These are independent bodies. They do not consult anything with the government, any member of the government, whether it be the Prime Minister or the Chief Minister. Both of these aren't to be consulted in any matter. If you talk about Election Commission and judiciary, both of these take independent decisions. Yeah, this is the reason why it is called the whole soul protector of Indian constitution. So then this is done by the separation of powers. Also, we have separated powers to three important branches. These are known as legislature, executive, and judiciary. Legislature is the lawmaking body. Executive is the body that passes on all the laws, that makes sure that the laws made by legislature are enforced. Then the third category is the judiciary. Judiciary means the separation of powers. Judiciary has separated powers from the above two. And judiciary makes sure that it levies all kind of checks and controls on these two. All categories, all kinds of checks and controls are put up by judiciary on the other two bodies. It means that the other branches like legislature and executive cannot absolutely interfere in the matters of judiciary. Any person who's a part of government, any person who's a part of Parliament House cannot have a say in the matters of judiciary. Only the Chief Justice of Supreme Court or the other Chief Justices of High Court will have a say. The courts are not under the government and do not act on their behalf for sure. Yeah, courts do not, absolutely do not have a role in this. Here we need to see the Supreme Court and High Court judges are appointed with a very little interference from any of these two branches. Rather, who appoints them? The Supreme Court judges or High Court judges, or if you say Chief Justice of Supreme Court is hired as appointed by President of our country. And once appointed, the President can also not remove a judge or the Chief Justice of Supreme Court. For removing the Chief Justice of Supreme Court or High Court, they need to get no confidence. Only in that case, they can be removed. It is the independence of the judiciary that allows courts to play a central role in ensuring that there is no misuse of power. As I already told you, that judiciary keeps a check on the above two branches, that is legislature and executive. So then it also plays a crucial role for sure in upholding the fundamental rights of all the citizens. We also have a say in our Indian government. We too have a say in the functioning of our country. Now, if we talk about the structure of Supreme Courts in our country, we have courts on three levels. Again, we have three tier beginning with Supreme Court, which is at the apex level. Then we have high courts, which are independent for all states. Then we have subordinate courts or district courts in every tehsil level. So then if you basically wish to have justice at a very lower level, you can definitely reach to district level of courts. Then we have high courts, and after which we have Supreme Court. In between, we have a very good system of tribunals, which are known as appellate tribunals. If you are not satisfied with the decision made by the district court, you can definitely reach to high court. Appellate tribunal is always a kind of staircase, or you can call a lift, through which you can reach another level. Like a lift or a staircase helps you reach another level or on another floor. Here also appellate tribunal is going to help you out to reach another level. You can definitely file a case on the appellate tribunal. You can appeal. You can appeal to this tribunal or bench of judges, bench of people who can let you reach on high court. And if again you're not satisfied with the decision made by high court, you can again put an appeal on appellate tribunal, from where you can reach to Supreme Court. Moreover, we have a shortcut also. We have a system of PIL, which is known as public interest litigation. This public interest litigation will let you file all your grievances, whether it is against individual, against government. You can file them directly to High Court or Supreme Court. This is all we have under the structure of courts in our country. If you like this video, kindly like and subscribe it. Thank you so much. Till the time, bye-bye.